is a Fox Sports presentation. New York, New York. Start spreading the news. Bad news, that is. Manhattan and Long Island. It's the Rangers and the Islanders. Does Mark Messier have another run for the cup in him? Or will the Islanders' Kurt Muller close down the Broadway Blue Shirts like a bad production of Cats? Pennsylvania's a big state. This means more room for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia to hate each other. The Penn's Jaromir Jagr. I kind of like that name. Jaromir Jagr. Jaromir Jagr. Oh, anyway. Can Mr. Jagr and his tuxedo teammates shoot down Eric Lindros and his Flyers? And when you think of Florida, you think of sun. And, of course, shuffleboard. But you better start thinking of pucks, because the Panthers and Lightning are making runs for the playoffs. There's no doubt the Red Wings are running on all cylinders in the Motor City. Question is, will the runs continue through the playoffs, or will Brett Hull and the Blues take the spark out of the plug? And Chicago and Dallas. Last time these boys met, Jeremy Roenick was sent home on a fever. You think there'll be any revenge in the Blackhawks' mind? Do Bears play chess in the woods? Right here, right now, it's Fox NHL Sunday.
And happy Passover from those of us here in Studio 7 in Hollywood, California. It's week 3 of the NHL on Fox. And folks, we think we've got some excellent matchups coming your way right here on Fox. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown, and thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Along with my partner, the former Ranger, Dave Maloney. You've been roughing up the crew all morning long. I get the impression you want to be back on the ice.
Well, the thing about roughing up the crew is the fact they don't hit back. That's why I like being here, playoffs around the corner, spending some time with you, JB. This is terrific.
You get the Lady Bing Award for those comments. All right, with most teams having less than 10 games left, let's take a look at the playoff picture. And, folks, each conference has some great races. We start in the East. Quebec has already clinched the playoff spot. Pittsburgh can clinch a spot today with a Rangers loss or a win over Philadelphia. Right now, the Flyers would get the second seed if they can hold off New Jersey for first place in the Atlantic. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Hartford has the 7th playoff spot while Buffalo is 8th. Tonight, the Sabres face Ottawa while Hartford skates against New Jersey. As you can see, the Rangers are just 1 point out of 8th, while Montreal, losers of 2, is 3 back. All right, in the West, it's all Detroit. They've got 61 points, lead the NHL, and are looking for a home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. All the other teams on your screen are in good shape to battle for Lord Stanley's Cup, with Calgary in line to get second seed for winning the Pacific Division. Now, the real battle is for the 7th and 8th playoff spots. Right now, Dallas is 7th, the Kings 8th, with San Jose and Winnipeg a point back. However, a Sharks win over the Kings today on our West Coast game, and a Dallas loss to Chicago here on Fox, and San Jose will be tied with Dallas, and L.A. is the team on the outside looking in. So as you can see, every game is indeed a huge one. All right, we told you that Pittsburgh can clinch a playoff spot today with a victory over the tough Philadelphia Flyers, and joining us now is Fox's Joe Micheletti. And Joe, no question about it, the Penguins have to be feeling pretty good considering they've got the 3rd best record overall in the league. But Jaromir Jagr, Ron Francis, Joe Mullen, of course, all getting publicity and well-deserved. But we can't overlook the fact that goalies Tom Barrasso and Ken Reggett are getting healthy at just the right time.
Yeah, this was a team, JB, that started the season hotter than any other team in the league, going 12-0-1. But you're right, the goaltending has been a problem, but Ken Reggett returned yesterday, and he should really help this team down the stretch defensively. Meanwhile, when you think of Pittsburgh, though, you've got to think of a team that is a scoring machine. Second in the league, despite some injuries, they've scored 153 goals. That's nearly 4 per game. So when you think of Pittsburgh, you think great experience, goal scoring, excellent goaltending if they stay healthy. I think they're the team to beat in the East. Meanwhile, Jaromir Jagr and Eric Lindros, those two lines will be playing against each other today. Should be a lot of fun here in Pittsburgh.
All right, thank you very much, Joe, and we look forward to that Pittsburgh-Philadelphia contest. And we've got another excellent matchup coming your way between Detroit and St. Louis. And right now, let's take you to St. Louis, where our own John Davidson is standing by. And no question about it, Detroit taking on the Blues. Detroit playing extremely well. Goaltender Mike Vernon, 16 wins in his last 16 games. He's doing quite well. But now, let's keep this in mind. Now, Detroit was bounced out of the first round last year in the playoffs, John. Any chance of that happening again?
Absolutely not, JB. And the reason in my mind is that this team, this time round, is Scotty Bowman's team. Scotty Bowman is a legendary coach. He has over 1,000 wins when you combine regular season and playoffs. And he has a simple motto. It's not what you get, it's what you give up. And this team doesn't give up very much at all. Last year, they were 16th in goals against. This year, they're number 1. Just look at their last 11 games where they haven't lost. They've scored 40. They've given up only 20. And when you're that good defensively, that means you should be a favorite going into the playoffs. This is a very, very, very good hockey club.
All right, John, thank you very much, and we certainly look forward to that matchup today as well. And one slight correction, as we talked about, Mike Vernon didn't go unbeaten in his last 16 games. But, again, talk a little bit about Detroit and St. Louis. Two great tacticians and guys who get inside your heads in Scotty Bowman and Mike Keenan.
Well, you know, Mike Keenan started with Scotty in Buffalo, and they're a lot alike. They get inside their heads. I think at this level that makes the difference. But, you know, you do speak about Detroit. The thing with Detroit is their goaltending. They played Friday night against Chicago. Chicago had 5 or 6 sparkling opportunities early. Osgood played very, very well. Detroit, in my way of thinking, is a hockey club to me.
So you still are staying with the Red Wings.
That's right, I am.
All the way. We've got you down on record for that, big fella. All right, and more will come your way from Studio 7 here in Hollywood, California. We'll come back here before sending out to your game as Fox NHL Sunday continues. Coming up during our first intermission, do you know who holds the record for most points scored in NHL history by an American? He's Joey Mullen from New York City, and he and his brother Brian have proved you can start out playing street hockey and end up playing in the NHL. That's during our first intermission. But now it's off to the Nassau Coliseum, where Kenny Albert and Denis Potvin are ready for the Battle of New York. It's the Rangers and the Islanders.
Fox Sports presents the National Hockey League. From the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, the rivalry continues. The New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. The Islanders Stanley Cup champions 1980, 81, 82, and 83. Their captain during the glory years, number 5, Denis Potvin. Good afternoon and happy holidays, everybody. Kenny Albert along with Hall of Famer Denis Potvin, who played in 111 games for the New York Islanders against the New York Rangers. It doesn't matter where these teams sit in the standings. This rivalry brings out the best in the players, the coaches, the fans, and the media.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Kenny. Some people may liken it to the great rivalry with the Red Sox and the Yankees. But for New York, this is the biggest rivalry there ever was. And yes, there's a bit of a history, especially here, that the Islanders have had the dominance. 48, 17, and 6 is the all-time record here at the Coliseum. The Rangers will want to stop that. But more importantly, take those stats, wrap your fish in them, and throw them away. Where it really matters is in the dressing room. These players have the burn. They don't want to lose to the crosstown rivals.
And the New York Rangers, defending Stanley Cup champions, only 9 games remain, and they trail the Buffalo Sabres, who currently hold that last playoff spot by 1 point. And our spotlight this afternoon falls on Rangers captain Mark Messier and the newest Islander, Kirk Muller.
Well, they haven't always worn the same jersey or come from the same town. There was the time Messier was in Edmonton, now obviously the Rangers. Muller, New Jersey, Montreal, and now the Islanders. But always they faced head-to-head, and we'll watch that matchup tonight.
In goal for the Rangers, he's won his last 2, Mike Richter.
But he has lost his last 2 meetings here against the New York Islanders.
And for the Islanders, defending the goal to our right, Tommy Soderstrom, who shut out the Rangers here at the Nassau Coliseum last month. Islanders skating from right to left, Rangers left to right. As the puck deflects out of play, the referee is Andy Van Helleman, and the linesman Ron Esselstad and Ron Finn.
Tommy Soderstrom in net for the Islanders tonight has just been outstanding the last 3 games. 110 shots, 119 shots that he has faced and only allowed 9 goals. He's on a hot streak. An aggressive goaltender. Watch for him tonight, charging out at the shooters.
The Rangers have won just 1 of their last 18 regular season games here in Nassau Coliseum, but remember they did win 2 in the playoffs a year ago. Denis Potvin for the Islanders, paired on defense with Dean Potvin. Kirk Muller up front with Steve Thomas and rookie Chris Marinucci. This is Alexei Kovalov for the Rangers. Opening minute, first period from the Nassau Coliseum. The Islanders lead the season series 2-0, 1-0 shutout here on the island in a 4-3 victory just 9 days ago at Madison Square Garden. Steve Thomas with Mullen on his right. Thomas fires over the net and it's cleared out to center by Kevin Lowe. Shot right back in by Stanton of the Islanders. Marinucci along the left wing boards takes a hard hit from Kovalov. Now the puck skated out to center by Adam Graves. Into the Islanders zone. Rangers in the midst of a line change, so Graves, the only Ranger in deep, as Rich Pilon clears to center. Muller's pass intercepted by his former teammate in New Jersey, Pat Verbeek. Messier whips into the left of Soderstrom. Marty McGinnis clears out. Ryan Leach, last year's playoff most valuable player. Leach back to his defense partner, Jeff Zuckerberg.
Leach trying to get back on track. 2 goals in the last game against the Boston Bruins. And for the New York Rangers, it's Brian Leach. He's one of the key players they need to have going if they're going to continue the roll.
Rangers defeat the Bruins 5-3 on Friday, while the Islanders blew a 3-0 first period lead. They lost to the New Jersey Devils 6-3. Both the Rangers and the Islanders took 3-0 leads in the first period in their last game.
For the Islanders, it's not new. They lost a 3-goal lead. They blew that 3 times this year already. The first period is important for both teams.
Here's Peter Nedved down the left wing. Pass deflects out to Derek King of the Islanders. King shoots in left side of Richter. Jay Wells is there. We've played 2.5 minutes of this first period from the Nassau Coliseum. As Wells shoots the length of the ice. Then Chinoff racing back with Vesky. And icing is called on the Rangers.
Well, it's interesting as a little shoving going on, but nothing serious for the Islanders and the Rangers. The first period is very important, especially if the Rangers are going to keep their role. But interestingly enough, throughout the season and up until this point, both Lauren Henning's team, the Islanders, and Colin Campbell's team, the Rangers, have been outscored in the first period. Colin Campbell has said, we need to have the first goal of the game.
And Denny, 15 players have worn the sweaters of both the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. Denny Potvin almost did.
Well, I think all you need to do is look at the picture. There's no words needed. It didn't even come close. The sweater is hanging here and very comfortable in Uniondale at the Nassau Coliseum.
How deep were the conversations with former Ranger coach Mike Keenan?
Well, I guess, in the beginning, they didn't sound like they were all that important or serious to me, but Mike Keenan made me aware that he was absolutely serious. If I wanted to make the commitment, it came down to the fact that I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. I'm still enjoying hockey, but much better from this vantage point.
We saw the pushing and shoving between Peter Nedved and Dean Chenault, and Chenault called for the elbow at 2:50. Rangers power play has struggled this season. Here's Messier across the Islanders line. Messier playing up front with Adam Graves and Pat Verbeek. Sutter taken to the ice by Verbeek. Here's Zubov on the right point. Wrist shot blocked by Sutter. Ryan Leach. His drive kicked out by Soderstrom. Graves back out to the right point. Zubov to Leach. Rangers on the power play. Zubov can't save Soderstrom, and Sutter clears out.
Islander defense doing a good job of not getting tied up with Graves in front of the net.
Leach puts on the brakes. Snyder unable to clear. Kicked in nicely by Zubov. Hector Beak, top of the circle. 1 minute gone by on the shootout penalty. Messier watched by Snyder. Looks to center. McGinnis racing over in Zubov, and Marty McGinnis clears down.
We can watch along with this action. Messier, Leach on the power play. Messier off the sideboard. Going to look for Leach to break down the lane and get that one-timer on goal.
35 seconds to go on the power play as Kovalov stays in deep. Brian Noonan in the near corner. Steve Lovett to Sergei Zubov. Another stick save is made by Soderstrom. Dennis Besky behind the Islander net. Kept alive by Zubov. Armour takes a hit from Pilad. Kovalov walks in front. Shot off the side of the net. McGinnis fires the length of the ice as the puck catches the glass and heads out of play. The penalty has expired. We are scoreless from the Nassau Coliseum. Islanders fans and Rangers fans alike here in Uniondale.
And that's right. Happy Easter, everybody. There's Brian Leach. He played the full 2 minutes on the power play. Expect more of that from the Rangers. Brian Leach went to administration. Management, he says, I want more ice time, and they're just happy to give it to him. So says Mike Murphy, his coach.
And it paid off Friday night against Boston. Leach scoring twice. Travis Green, who scored twice the last time these teams met, shooting in for the Islanders.
Triple his output in that one game. Travis Green found the top shelf on Richter. We'll see if he looks for it again in this game.
Here's Kosa, the setup in front. Another stop by Soderstrom on the deflection by Nathan Lafayette. Brett Lindros walking in, and Richter able to make the stop. And he was barreled into by 6'5" Brett Lindros.
Well, Brett Lindros was not sure whether or not he was going to play today. Coach Lauren Henning told me he's got a lot of problems with the lower back spasms. But what a move he puts on the defenseman to get around and get the shot on goal. Now, Brett Lindros is going to go off, be penalized probably for interfering with the goaltender, Mike Richter. It looks like it may be a questionable call. Lindros is being sent off the ice. The tempers flaring already. We talked about the rivalry. We talked about the burn in the dressing room. None of this surprises one who's been there 111 games.
Nick Bakota of the Islanders and the Rangers, Jay Wells. On the Islanders' first shot of the game by Lindros. He and Richter came together. We'll be back. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from the Nassau Coliseum. Mike Richter has skated over to the Rangers bench after a 6'5" freight train named Brett Lindros collided with Richter, who looks to be all right.
Well, he'll be back. He was shaken up. Before we go to it, we'll see the big save by Tommy Soderstrom at the other end. Watch his left leg, just dragging the leg after the deflection, and just a beautiful play. This is where Lindros, 200 feet away, coast to coast, makes a superb move on defenseman Jay Wells, and then barrels through. Now you can see he did not try and get out of the way. He put his shoulder down as he goes around defenseman Karpatsov. I'm sorry, he goes right through Richter and gives him the shoulder. Now, Lindros has been sent off the ice. Obviously, referee Andy Van Helleman saw that as intent to injure. Lindros will be sent off the ice for the remainder of the game. If that indeed is a call, we'll wait to see whether or not there's a minor penalty tied to that. We get the call from Andy Van Helleman.
Van Helleman over explaining things to Rangers head coach Colin Campbell. Brett Lindros very anxious to return to the Islanders lineup. He missed the last 3 games with back spasms.
Well, with the kind of play he made on defenseman Karpatsev, it really hurts the whole of the Islander bench not to have him out there. He looked like smooth skating Brett Lindros, what everybody has been wanting to see. This is just a little bit after the move, but you see here where he does not try and avoid Mike Richter. That is really where the error is committed. He's got a little room. Again, you see, he's got time to put his shoulder down, albeit very little time. But because of the injury to Richter, maybe the importance of the game. But now here comes Brett Lindros. He's coming back to the bench.
The marking penalty has been assessed to number 75 of the Islanders, Brett Lindros. Brett Lindros receives 5 minutes for charging, the time 5:30.
5 minutes for charging is the call, so the Rangers will be up a man for the next 5 minutes, and Lindros does not return even if the Rangers score.
Well, he must have gone to the dressing room. It must have been equipment change or equipment damage. He was allowed to go to the dressing room and come right back.
So the Rangers with the 5-on-4 skating advantage. Messier had it poke checked away by Chris Luongo. Messier centering Verbeek and Graves. Chris Mullen and Patrick Flatley, the Islanders' penalty-killing forwards.
The New York Rangers power play overall 14th in the National Hockey League, but terrible on the road. They've only scored 6 of 27 power play goals while playing in the other team's building.
And last year, as Matthew Snyder clears down, the power play was the Rangers' forte.
And the penalty killing, all those specialty teams that were at the top of the league. Now overall, only 14, even the penalty killing. Overall, the Rangers are tied for 8th.
Verbeek shoots into the Islander zone. Ian Chenault had some trouble with the oncoming Verbeek. And now Chenault clears down. 1 minute gone by. And a major penalty called on Brett Lindros.
So far, no real possession for the Rangers in the Islander zone. Islanders overall 24th in the league at penalty killing efficiency. That's not very good, but slightly better on their home ice. 17th in the NHL.
Here's Chenault on the backhand, and Muller clears out.
Well, it's obvious that the Islanders are smelling that the Rangers are not settled yet. So they're charging. They're not waiting back in the box. They're forcing the puck carrier and causing him to turn the puck over.
Puck shot in by Karpatsev. Steve Larmer along the right wing boards. His pass to Noonan, who took a hit from Luongo as Flatley cleared.
Now, when you see a defenseman who plays the right side cut across, as Longo did, to go and check the Ranger puck carrier, obviously the mode is aggressive for the Islanders.
Denny, the Rangers with 3 shots on their first power play, none so far over the first 2 minutes of this man advantage. Flatley for the Islanders, battling with Messier. Comes out to Leach on the left point. Leach slides to his right, and a right pad save by Soderstrom.
And the key for the Islanders in front of Soderstrom, who gives up a lot of rebounds, is don't get tied up with the opposition until you can be free to clear those rebounds away.
Leach hit to the boards by Schneider. Brian Leach looking for Verbeek. Sutter on the intercept. 2-on-2 with Marty McInnes. They crisscross, and then Sutter's pass was broken up by Graves, intended for McInnes, with just 2:10 remaining on the 5-minute man advantage. Mark Messier between the legs to Kevin Lowe. Lowe moving in, he scores!
Well, I think the goal might be credited to Pat Verbeek, but Kevin Lowe, right in the middle of your screen, did all the work. He came in as a 36-year-older, celebrated his birthday yesterday like a power forward, driving to the net. And to finish off the play, Pat Verbeek, his 8th goal as a New York Islander. Watch to the left of your screen. The draw pass to Kevin Lowe. Watch how he puts his left leg out to ward off the defender. And I don't think Verbeek touched it at all. It looks like on the replay, Lowe did all of the work himself. Watch the left leg, how he wards off the defender. And then the second try is able to scoop it underneath Soderstrom. Kevin Lowe, power defenseman, let's call him, celebrating his 36th birthday yesterday, putting the New York Rangers on the board. The all-important first goal. That'll help settle the Rangers.
First goal of the season for Kevin Lowe. 16-year veteran. 6 Stanley Cup championships. That's 2 more than you.
And 5, thanks.
Just wanted to point that out.
We are involved with a lot of stats today and a lot of information.
4's not too bad.
4 in a row.
But you never did that. Kovalov broke his stick, and Baskey clears out for the Islanders. Still 1:35 to go. The Rangers power play is flatly fires in the chest of Richter.
Oh, you got to like how Richter came out of his crease to challenge Flatley, the shooter. Had to be 10 feet outside of the blue area, showing that he's sharp and he's aggressive. Richter to play well has to be aggressive.
Kovalov sends out to the fourth, but Zubov could not keep in, and Richter out about 30 feet with McGinnis pressuring. 1 minute remaining on the Lindros penalty. Rangers lead the Islanders 1-0 on the goal by Lowe, his first of the season from Messier and Graves at 8:28.
I was talking to Kevin Lowe before the game and wishing him a belated happy birthday. I said, you know, Denny, I'm looking at it year to year now. He said, you've got a few other things going, but it's a different way now to look at your hockey career. You're looking at it from the back end. I fully understand what Kevin Lowe's doing. You can't be happier for a guy like him to put the team on the board so early in this important game.
Kevin Lowe, who has played so many big games here at Nassau Coliseum during the Stanley Cup Finals, 1983, 1984. Zubov to Messier. Messier took a hit from Pilon. Lindros will return in 15 seconds. As Baskey shoots out for the Islanders, so the Rangers with 1 goal during this power play.
Yeah, Kenny, coming into the game, the Rangers' real motto is to be patient. They're going to be a little nervous. They're going to have a playing against a very loose Islander team. This goal affords them now to be a little more patient. They've got the lead, and now they can play more a Ranger attack style.
Play is blown dead with 9:19 on the clock. First period, a 1-0 New York Rangers lead. Rangers captain Mark Messier, their leading scorer this season, and he has just tied Guy Lafleur 8th place on the all-time NHL points list.
Great company for a great hockey player. Mark Messier, in many circles, is referred to as the most influential hockey player in the NHL at the moment.
Messier and Graves assisting on the goal by Lowe. All 3 former Edmonton Oilers. Here come the Rangers. Peter Nedved. And Chinov chasing on the right wing. Put out of trouble by Chenault. Kurt Muller. Back for the Islanders, Denis Baskey. Icing called on the Rangers. We'll step out. You're watching the NHL on Fox from Long Island. Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum.
I bet you they love the robots.
I bet you they don't remember 1983.
No, not even 83. They barely remember 88, the year I retired.
And a penalty upcoming on the Rangers. Delayed call. Muller centering pass. And now the whistle from Andy Van Hellemond. Following 2 Ranger power plays, the Islanders will go to the man advantage. Alexander Karpatsev called for cross-checking at 11:27. Islanders' first power play this afternoon.
Power play efficiency overall, 17th in the league for the Islanders.
Matthew Schneider with the drive. The save made by Richter. Muller could not get to the rebound as Messier moves to center. The steal by Thomas. Denny, over the Islanders' last 40 power play opportunities, they have scored only 5 power play goals. Their opponents have scored 7 shorthanded goals.
Obviously, a team that is weak on the power play when things are not going well. Oftentimes, you find your defensemen are starting to press. But the big difference that the Islanders didn't have at that time is Matthew Schneider.
Now, they have also been hurt by the loss of Scott LeChance, sitting out his 22nd consecutive game. with a broken ankle, but this guy should certainly help.
Well, there's no question. Kurt Muller is bringing what Don Maloney absolutely wanted in a trade. If you're going to get rid of the talent of Turgeon and Malakoff, two guys that may have been considered somewhat inconsistent, according to Don Maloney, this is the guy you want back, Muller and Schneider. Boy, I tell you, their middle name is We Show Up Every Night. These guys are there every night, and they expect to make a big difference, not only on the ice, but in leadership for this young Islander team.
Muller and Schneider, both members of the 1993 Stanley Cup champion Montreal Canadiens. Islanders captain Pat Flatley. Ray Ferraro lets it go to Matthew Schneider. The forward line for the Islanders, Lindros with Ferraro and Flatley. Noonan of the Rangers moves to center. Ryan Noonan shooting in. Here's Matthew Schneider across to Paul Stanton. Ryan Leach takes it back the other way.
One of the critical things on a power play is to gain speed through the neutral zone. That does two things. It confuses the opposition, but you also have a better chance of gaining the opposition's blue line and therefore the territory in the offensive zone. Islanders have not been able to get anywhere near that yet.
Good forechecking by Lafayette and Nemchionov.
The Islanders are just too busy changing lines. They've had 3 line changes already on this power play opportunity. They haven't seemed to settle on who wants to play the power play. So they haven't had a consistent 5-man attack.
Here's Muller back on, takes a hit. Marinucci in deep, centering pass to Luongo. Steve Thomas. Karpatsev has returned as the Rangers clear down. So we are now back to 5-on-5. Another icing call on the Rangers. 6:14 to go here in the first. The goal by Lowe. Rangers 1-0.
Well, we've seen that the Islander power play has not been all that efficient. They got 1 shot on the power play, but more importantly, only 25 seconds of the 2 minutes were they able to have any kind of offensive possession in the New York Rangers zone.
Rangers out shooting the Islanders 7-4. Remember, the Rangers have won only 1 of their last 18 regular season games here on Long Island. The Islanders' last home victory was over the Rangers back in March. They are winless in their last 5 here in Uniondale. Schneider steps around Messier, finds McGinnis, shooting into the Rangers zone. Richter stops it for Zubov. Sergei Zubov, who led the Rangers in scoring last year. Here's Pat Verbeek with the drive wide to the left of Soderstrom. Matteau hit by Chanel. Ray Ferraro in the far corner leaves it for Patrick Flatley. 5:10 remaining first period. Glad you joined us this afternoon here on Fox. Kenny Albert with Kenny Potvin. Here's Kovalov moving into the Islanders zone. Hooks in front. Pass intended for Matteau. Wells on the left point. Kovalov comes together with Chanel. And Soderstrom covers up. Stefan Matteau and Rich Pilon get the gloves up high behind the Islanders' net. Cooler heads prevail. Stefan Matteau of the Rangers, Rich Pilon of the Islanders. 2 apiece for roughing at 15-13. So the teams will play 4-on-4 for the next 2 minutes.
Look at the bottom right of your screen. This is in the Coliseum in Uniondale. It says Fluke 1994. We talk about a rivalry. It extends a lot further than dressing rooms and players.
I told you not to go down to the penalty box before the game. I loaned you my magic marker.
Well, that is not my hand.
4-on-4. Nedved looks to center. Derek King for the Islanders. Muller chasing with Kukaboo. That's a Kovalov into the Islanders zone. Tries to spin around Luongo. Muller on the intercept.
One of the things the coaches, Kovalev, they want him to move the puck a little more. As we saw him do sometimes overhandles just before the giveaway.
Kovalov still spinning, and then he feeds Leach. Kovalov. Sergei Zubov. Into the ice by Derek King. Schneider is there for the Islanders. Kovalov was quoted when he first came over to North America 2.5 years ago as saying, "I only pass the puck to players who are better than me." The shot by Flatley, sticked out by Richter.
But I don't like your favorite in the dressing room. I don't want to.
Mark Messier with the Rangers ahead 1-0. Here's Kevin Lowe, who scored the goal. Dennis Baskey puts on the brakes. Aims it out. Now the Islanders cut to center 2-on-2. Flatley with Ferraro. Well, Ferraro had a hold up. He was ahead of the play. Would have been called for the offside. Graves poke checked away nicely by McGinnis. McGinnis with Green on his left, Schneider on his right, but Schneider in the zone too soon. Offsides called on the Islanders. Coming up next on the Fox NHL Sunday Intermission Report, JB and Dave Maloney will get you caught up on the Stanley Cup playoff races with scores and highlights from around the NHL. Plus, see how New Yorkers Joey and Brian Mullen overcame long odds to reach success in the NHL. That's all coming up on the Fox NHL Sunday Intermission Report.
Well, on Fox Network, we saw the great puck handling ability of Alexei Kovalev. But the reason why the coaches want him to do less of that, not overhandle it, is because it ends up slowing down everybody else on his team. Hockey is a game where you want to keep the action moving and the puck ahead of you. And Kovalev, in his feeling of overhandling, just slows his team down.
McGinnis, wrist shot, deflected out of play by Wells. Of course, when Kovalov was growing up in the Soviet Union, more ice to skate around on.
Well, it's a different game, obviously, when you have the deep corners, you have 15 feet behind the net. There's a need to have that great stick handling ability. But you can see here, he's such in great control and great possession. But look at the ice. He'll end up losing good ice. And now all the work he did, he ends up giving the puck to Leach, and Leach is along the boards with his back to the boards and in bad ice. Once you've gained a little good territory, that's where you want to improve on that. And sometimes, as his coaches have complained about, he works himself all the way to the corner.
2.5 to go in this first period. Shot 7 for the Rangers, 5 for the Islanders. Many of the Rangers without an official shot on goal since they scored, since the goal by Lowe, which was over 10 minutes ago.
Now, they killed off the penalty to the Islanders, but then the 4-on-4 did not get any opportunity.
The pass from Lindros, a bit behind Travis Green, cleared off the boards, and skated out by Nathan Lafayette. Brett Lindros. Lindros with the check from Verbeek. And then behind the play, Lindros hit Kyprios to the ice.
I know. I think Kyprios just tried to run him over, and he ended up hitting the wall like most people do, hitting his brother.
Here's Thomas with Marinucci cutting to the net, and the save by Richter on Steve Thomas.
Well, Steve Thomas not having the year that he had last year, and he certainly wanted one. He's going into free agency market at the end of this hockey season. Last year, scored 42 goals, led the Islanders with the 42 goals, and they talked about him as a power forward. Look at the power right there. Kyprios, pretty big, strong guy in his own right, but here you're looking at Lindros wearing the shield only because he's had a injury to the right eye. And of course, coming back from back spasm, we talked about it. That's a bad injury for a big guy.
And in case you're wondering why Brett Lindros wears the unusual uniform number 75, he was born in December of 1975, which, believe it or not, was after the Islanders won that very memorable playoff series over the Rangers on the overtime goal by J.P. Parise. Went on to beat the Penguins after trailing 3 games to none. Brett Lindros was not even born yet, Eddie.
Well, you're right. You made the comment earlier today that he's the only Islander who was born, or the first Islander to be born immediately after the series.
Under a 4 minutes ago. Nice pass in front, deflected wide by Noonan. Muller spun to the ice by Nedved. Feeds Leach on the left point. His shot was blocked. Muller clears out to Thomas, joined by Marinucci. Thomas from outside the blue line. Puck deflects up. Souvenir in the third row with 40 seconds to go in this first period.
Well, I had a chance to talk with Kurt Muller yesterday when I came to the Islander practice, and I asked him about repeating one of the, obviously, the thing the Rangers want to do and how tough it was. I wanted to get his opinion on it. And, you know, he said it was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through because we weren't that good of a hockey team, the Montreal Canadiens, when we won the Stanley Cup in '93. Yet all of a sudden, the following season, everybody's taking shots at you. Everybody's aiming for you and playing tougher. We got 91 points the following year after the Cup, but it still wasn't good enough. Beaten in the first round by the Boston Bruins.
I have an expert sitting to my right regarding repeating. What about the Islanders in the early 80s? You did not repeat only once, but then in 1982 and 83, 4 consecutive Stanley Cups, and no team has done that since then.
That's the hardest thing in team sports, and I think I have to admit that during that period of time, and I say this after having talked to a lot of my teammates, Bob Nystrom was over here, and Bossy, and Gillies, and Trache, we all felt it was probably the toughest 5 years of our lives. We had 19 playoff series in a row, but the key element there was that there was no changes on this hockey team. We had the same coach throughout, and the players that were changed were usually the number 18 or 19 player on the team, and we replaced them a little bit. The Rangers have really had wholesale changes since they're winning the Cup last year and having the new coach. So that's a disruptive thing that's hard to compensate for.
Here's McGinnis for a tough handle. Blast of the puck through the crease, and that will do it for this first period. The Rangers lead the Islanders by the score of 1-0. The goal by Kevin Lowe at 8:28 on what turned out to be the Rangers' final shot of that first period. Shots on goal, 7 apiece. And Kevin Lowe scores the only goal during that 5-minute major power play.
Well, there you have some of the Ranger fans. It's about 50-50 in the building, as it always was. One of my great memories about my first year with the Islanders was that when Rod Gilbert scored a goal in here my first game, I couldn't believe how many fans were cheering for the Rangers. Well, there you have the score. Rangers 1, Islanders nothing at the end of 1. We'll be back.
Back here in Hollywood, along with Dave Maloney, I'm James Brown. The games you're watching, Chicago and Dallas, the Rangers and the Isles. And as we start first with the Rangers, Islanders, Rangers trying desperately to get back to the playoffs. No doubt in the intensity of the leader, Mark Messier, and hey, the reluctant one, Kirk Muller. He's got to get fired up.
Well, that's right, but there's another Lindros in the league. Brett Lindros goes around, Carpazza, bang, over Mike Richter he goes. He gets a 5-minute charge, bad call. Messier opens up a lane on a drop pass to Lowe, left leg out, fends off the stick, misses the first attempt, knocks in the second one. Kevin Lowe puts the blue shirts on the board.
Rangers holding to a 1-0 lead after a period of play. Tampa and Florida. John Van Beesbrook in studio last week, in goal today.
Well, you know, again, we talked about how calm he plays in net. Now watch him in the goal, just calmly make one stop, over, make the second stop, but John Tucker misses it wide. He wants that one back 0-0.
Absolutely, after a period of play there. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, Penguins looking to clinch a playoff spot with the victory. Battle of the top 2 scorers in the league. Lindros with 60, Yager with 57.
Well, Ron Hextall is going to go bingo on Sean McEachern right there. But McEachern's going to file that one because we'll see here. Joey Mullen on the left of your screen, a little stutter step, beats the rookie carry on wide. Now to the right of your screen, who's going to come but Sean McEachern. He said, you know what, Hextall, I remember that punch. I'm going to put it in the net. I'll take a punch to score one any day of the week.
1-0 Pittsburgh after 1. Detroit, St. Louis. Big matchup here. Boy, Esatekin is known as a pest around the league.
No holiday spirit here as Kozlov goes to hit him. He hit the old line. Brett Hull scores a shorthanded goal. Coffey turned the wrong way through the 5-hole. There's the first of Brett Hull shorthanded. Well, we say the first because if Needy scores the second one. A pump blaster from the point. Down goes Mike Ramsey in front. Vernon through the 5-hole. And Hull has scored 3, JB.
The natural hat trick for Mr. Hall. Leading it 3-1 are the Blues. Chicago and Dallas. My goodness, Bernie Nichols, 14-year veteran. He's got to pick it up.
No surprise here, 0-0 after 1. Why? They're not very creative. They get a chance here. Gagne to the front to the rookie Mike Kennedy. You know, a lot of whacking, thwacking, but no goal. Both teams struggling a little bit. Now, how many times is Bernie Nichols going to get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get him out of there. You got to clear the front of your net, even if it was free side. No score.
With Roenick out for Chicago, Modano for Dallas. Indeed, defense is the key. No score there after a period of play. And Joe Mullen of Pittsburgh will be a profile after this. Welcome back to Fox NHL Sunday. Most of us would figure that the person with the most NHL points by an American would be from Minnesota or perhaps Michigan. But how about New York City? It's true. Joey Mullen grew up playing street hockey with his brother Brian in a neighborhood called Hell's Kitchen. And together they showed if you've got a dream, you can fulfill it with hard work and dedication.
Simply the best American-born player that has ever played in the National Hockey League. His stats show it.
That milestone was only one of the reasons that Joey Mullen and his brother Brian received the Lester Patrick Award for outstanding contributions to American hockey. Certainly a long way from the way life could have been. These are not the streets that you think of as a place where NHL players come from. It's not Moose Jaw or Medicine Hat. It's New York City's Hell's Kitchen. This is where Brian and Joey grew up. A tough neighborhood, but a fenced-in schoolyard across the street was their safe haven.
When people came to 49th Street, they came to play sports. And most of the time, they came looking for the Mullen family because we were right across the street, as you can see, our apartment's right there. And, you know, they just yell up at the window.
Hey, Brian, come on down. All right, I'll be right down. Let me put my stuff on.
And we get our stuff on and just run down the steps, and we'd be in the schoolyard in a matter of minutes.
Since the age of 3, they stayed off the streets and out of trouble by playing hockey, roller hockey. There was no local ice rink, so amazingly enough, the Mullen boys didn't even hit the ice until they were teenagers.
The schoolyard was the place to be. I had no clue how to ice skate, you know, or how to play the game on ice.
But they learned. 1 block away from the schoolyard was the old Madison Square Garden where their father, Tom, worked on the ice crew. At the new Garden, Brian worked with his dad as a stick boy for the New York Rangers. The Mullen boys grew to love ice hockey, and it wasn't long before they found themselves on buses every day, traveling away from the schoolyard to play ice hockey. These Hell's Kitchen roller hockey players became the best ice hockey players in the city and soon earned college hockey scholarships and the opportunity to make it to the NHL, which they did. In 1980, Joey was signed by the St. Louis Blues and went on to win 3 Stanley Cups, 1 with the Calgary Flames and 2 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brian was drafted by the Winnipeg Jets and in '87 was traded to his hometown team, the New York Rangers.
From being stick boy down there, I mean, I spent my whole childhood down there. And coming back to play for the New York Rangers was a childhood dream.
Brian ended his career with another local team, the New York Islanders, but was forced to retire due to medical problems. He is now working back in areas like his old neighborhood with the NHL as director of all ice programs. He and Joey are looking to give kids the opportunity they got 25 years ago.
I think that schoolyard was made for roller hockey. I believe that, and it's just a shame that it's not being used the way we used it, because it kept us out of trouble, it kept us playing sports, and it made life fun in New York City.
Nice to see that Mullen's love of the game is such that he's anxious to help others realize their dreams. Fox NHL Sunday continues after this.
One period complete from the Nassau Coliseum here on Fox. The Rangers lead the Islanders by the score of 1-0.
Fox NHL Sunday is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. By Canon, a world leader in office equipment. By Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. And by the United States Army Reserve. Be all you can be. For more information, call 1-800-USA-ARMY.
Welcome back to Fox NHL Sunday from the Nassau Coliseum. Rangers over the Islanders, 1-0. This game summary brought to you by Bud Ice. Shots even at 7. Rangers with the slight edge in faceoffs. And the Rangers' lone goal coming on the power play, scored by Kevin Lowe. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin back at the Nassau Coliseum. We saw the hard hit in the first period by Lindros on Richter. Let's turn the clock back to 1979.
I can't blame Denis Potvin for that incident, because I think the fans still remember it, I guess, but I don't think it was a really dirty or hard hit. Hockey is a physical game, and those things happen.
Denny, if you look closely, Ulf Nielsen's right ankle did seem to catch a rut in the garden ice prior to the collision.
It did. Believe me, Ulfie's pain has lasted a lot less long than it has lied.
That took place in the spring of 1979. You feel any vindication when you hear the comments made by Ulf Nielsen?
Sure, you know, because I think if you saw the right foot, you see that immediately before contact, his foot hit the rut, and so he had to readjust and just couldn't get out of it. Of course, I didn't see that. I came in for the hit. But as I say, his pain didn't last nearly as long.
Opening minute of the second period. Islanders skating from left to right, and the Rangers right to left.
Well, interesting stats in the first period. Rangers shots on goal 7. They got all of them in the first 9 minutes of the period.
Off the giveaway, Ferraro controls for the Islanders. Pushed to the ice by Messier. He clears across the Verbeek. Rangers went over 11 minutes without a shot on goal. Shots now 7 apiece. The lone goal scored by Kevin Lowe.
And the Rangers didn't seem to have a lot of the electricity that we thought we might see in the first period. And the longer that goes, the better it is for an Islander team that is really playing the game of a spoiler now, being 10 games out of 500.
2 Rangers, 2 Islanders battling in the near corner. They continue to freeze the puck. Finally comes to Nedved. Kevin Lowe moving in. Lowe comes in front, can't save the rebound, and another stop by Soderstrom. Kevin Lowe playing the role of an offensive defenseman, which is very unusual.
Well, they got a lot of room to drive in there. Dean Chenoweth, the defenseman.
Richter able to stop the shot by Thomas, with Mullen setting up in front.
Chenoweth, the defenseman for the Islanders, got tied up in front of the net. Got tied up with Nemchinov and left the lane wide open to go to the net for Lowe.
2 minutes into this second period. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from Nassau Coliseum. Rangers lead the Islanders 1-0 on the goal by Kevin Lowe. Chris Baraducci working the near corner with Alexander Kotlitsev. Steve Laumer, number 28 for the Rangers. Into the Islanders zone. Matteau on the left wing. Sigmund Colfie on for a rare shift. Number 68. Green to Palfy. Palfy winds and shoots. The save is made by Richter, and the Rangers clear out.
Well, surprisingly hard shot by Palfy. I think Mike Richter may not have expected such a hard shot, but he's been surprising goaltenders a good part of the season, and the Islander staff has often commented on the quick release and the hard shot he possesses.
We've played 3 minutes here in the second. Leach's shot blocked by Palfy. Kyprios turns and shoots. Stick save, Soderstrom. Leach keeps in the Islander zone. Taken down by Green. Fired the length of the ice by Paul Stanton. The touch is made by Pukeboom. Icing called on the Islanders. 1-0. New York Rangers lead. Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum, Fox NHL Sunday.
Now look at this. Don't you think these kids are really getting into it? Love the robots.
Look how well the Islanders fans and the Rangers fans are getting along on this holiday weekend.
We're making it all up. There's never been a rivalry.
And as Baskey of the Islanders hits the red line and then flips in to the right of Mike Richter. Kosher hit to the boards by Lindros. Shots down 9 apiece. The only goal scored by Kevin Lowe. Sergei Zubov. Nick Kyprios off the body of Ron Sutter, and offside is called on the Rangers.
Oh, you're looking at big Brett Lindros. He came in under real tough circumstances. Here's a kid who's drafted in the summer last year by the Islanders, then has a training camp, then the lockout. It's just going to eat away at Eric Lindros. And in talking about it, that long layout means that a young man like Lindros doesn't get a chance to get a feel for the NHL, a feel for his teammates. It's almost unfair. And, you know, the same could be said on the other side for Nedved coming in with a new hockey team. People are very critical of their early games, forgetting that there was a huge time there that was just dead time for them.
And a penalty called by Andy Van Hellemond. Mark Messier will head off for hooking. So the Islanders will go to their second power play of the afternoon. Benny, the Rangers won the Stanley Cup on June 14th, and they did not open their 1995 regular season until January 20th.
Yeah, it's a detriment to the hockey club. You often hear about chemistry. Well, you have to have that chemistry to win the Stanley Cup. And Mark Messier, the leader of that hockey team, recognizes that. But, you know, once you get out of the Stanley Cups, sure, it's a shortened summer. You get back into training camp. There we see Mark Messier pulling down Ferraro. It's in training camp in the early part of the season that you get wound up again and again try and regain that chemistry. For the Rangers, for everybody in the league, that whole period of time did not exist.
Messier in the box. Islanders just one shot during their first man advantage. Islanders 7 of their last 66 as Muller centers King and Thomas. Derek King leads the Islanders with 6 power play goals. Matthew Schneider. Derek King, top of the circle. The return to Schneider. He shoots, score! Deflected in by Muller. His first as an Islander.
Well, these two players are not new to one another. You would have to see that when Schneider picked his head up, all he was looking for was to get the puck anywhere near Kirk Muller, knowing that Kirk Muller would be trying to get a deflection. A beautifully executed play. Islanders taking advantage of the Rangers not charging. Of course, the win in the face-off by Muller, all important. But watch how Schneider shoots the puck. Watch how he keeps his head up right there. Watching for his target. The target was Muller, not the net. And it's Muller who redirected it past Richter. And all that quickly, early in this power play, the Islanders have tied it up. It's a brand new hockey game with 15:52 left in this second period. Matthew Snyder oftentimes compared to his former teammate, Chris Chelios. A lot of the same traits these two young defensemen have. Well, Snyder young and Chelios not that old after all, depending who you're comparing to.
So Muller scores his first as an Islander, 9th of the season from Snyder and King at 4:08. It took only 9 seconds after the faceoff. Muller released the penalty. Nedved drops it up to Kickoff. Puck bouncing on him. Now the shot. Soderstrom able to make the stop on Nedved. Couple of good opportunities for the New York Rangers. Here comes Chris Marinucci. Shot was blocked by Zubov. Kickoff corrals the puck, spun around by Marinucci. Marinucci behind the net to Thomas, chased by Travis Green.
What a nice play, stripping the puck away by Marinucci, the impressive young rookie.
Here's Sergei Nemchinov, floating one towards Nedved. Play has certainly picked up here in the second period. King drops it off, Puffy's drive. Deflects out of play. 5.5 gone by the second. We are tied at 1. Kirk Muller tied the game for the Islanders just moments ago. Then we spotlighted the Messier-Muller matchup in the pregame, and with Messier in the penalty box, Muller tips home the Snyder shot.
Now we're seeing Warren Henning, the coach of the Islanders, also use Ferraro a lot in matching up with Messier. Islanders are fortunate to have two forwards in Ferraro and Muller that are so strong defensively.
Here's Alexei Kovalev out towards the right point, decided to shoot. Matteau hit by Palfy, and the Islanders move to center. Travis Green backhanding in. Shots now 11-10 in favor of the Rangers. And we are tied at 1 on goals by Kevin Lowe and Kirk Muller. Remember, the Islanders have not won in their last 5 home games. Their last victory here was against the Rangers, 1-0. Back in March. Larmer into the boards by Pilad. Kovalev over to help out. Larmer from his knees. Did not connect with Matteau. And it's Rich Pilad returning today after missing the last 17 games due to an ankle injury. Icing on the Islanders as Karpatsev makes the touch.
As we're looking at defenseman Karpatsev, I've been watching and listening to a lot of what's been going on in NHL dressing rooms lately. And there's a term in hockey now that has crept in that I've never heard of before. And the word is fragile. I would think that in the past days of hockey, fragile was a word you would never use to describe a hockey player, or 2, a team. But for the New York Rangers and many of the teams, that word has been used because a lot of how they play depends on what happens early in the game.
And the Rangers did take the 1-0 lead. Centering pass off the stick of Graves. Graves only 1 goal in his last 15 games. Graves and Messier work the corner. Graves and Snyder battling. Messier and Luongo. Kept alive by Verbeek. Here's Messier in front. Oh, and it rolled under the stick of Graves. 2 Rangers all alone in front of Tommy Soderstrom.
What a missed opportunity by the Rangers. It's a superb play by Verbeek to keep it in the zone.
Here they come once again. Messier to Verbeek. Blocker stop by Soderstrom.
Soderstrom way out of his depth, challenging the shooters as we expected he would.
Ray Ferraro for the Islanders. From a tough angle out of glove save as Richter snatches the puck out of the air.
Well, you want to know how goal opportunities happen. You're looking at Pat Verbeek. He's the one who created the opportunity for Messier and Graves by keeping the puck inside the Islander zone.
Pat Verbeek, acquired by the Rangers last month from the Hartford Whalers.
He had 7 goals in 29 games with the Whalers and already has 8 goals for the New York Rangers. He has been a wonderful addition to this hockey club. So says Neil Smith. And obviously his goal-scoring output speaks for itself.
Pat Verbeek and Kirk Muller, longtime line mates with the New Jersey Devils, and in recent weeks they have both been traded back to the New York area. 12:15 remaining here in the second. Dean Chanel makes the touch, beats Nathan Lafayette to the puck, and icing is called on the Rangers.
We're looking at a little bit of a scuffle here. Kosa, of course, on the ice. You see there's been a couple of line changes and rolling over by Coach Colin Campbell. He wants to try and get more of his players into the game. So we've seen the Matteau line. We've seen Kyprios and Kosa trying to get more people involved. You're early in the game. It's 1-1, 12-12 left in the second. It's very important for the coaching staff to get as many of his bench playing in case he needs them later on. Here's the play by Verbeek we've talked about. You see how he turned it over at the blue line, and it's a 3-on-1 situation. Messier over, and Graves missing the puck in the open net. Fortunate bounce for the New York Islanders. Mark Messier, just to show you how things have been tough for the Stanley Cup finalists, Mark Messier, coming into tonight's game, stands at 20th in the NHL in scoring. That's the highest of either team, the Vancouver Canucks or the New York Rangers, in NHL scoring.
And you just had a look at Nathan Lafayette of the Rangers, who was on that Vancouver Canucks squad that took the Rangers to 7 games. In fact, Lafayette hit the post in the final minutes of Game 7 that would have tied the hockey game.
And he had some important comments we'll get to when we get a chance. Lafayette, in the dressing room recently, has made the statement that he sees the Rangers right now thinking and feeling in the dressing room much like the Vancouver Canucks did just before their roll on to the finals in the Stanley Cup.
And another icing call on the Rangers with 11:34 to go here in the second. 1-1 hockey game.
There's a look at Nathan Lafayette with the Vancouver Canucks. Came from Vancouver for Corey Hirsch.
Hirsch, the goaltender for Canada in last year's Olympics. They were defeated in the gold medal game by Sweden. Now the puck rolls in front towards Richter. Rangers having trouble clearing. This line of Mullen, Marinucci, and Thomas has done an excellent job this afternoon keeping the puck in the Rangers zone.
I'll tell you, this young guy Marinucci is very impressive. Hobie Baker Award last year, Minnesota Duluth.
And Chinoff feathers one intended for Noonan. Maskey unable to clear. Shot from the right point, blocked by Chanel. Chanel to Chinoff in the far corner. Nedved over as well. Puck squirts up the boards to Brian Noonan. Noonan moves in front. Shot hit the side of the net. Then we were told Matthew Snyder went to the Islanders locker room with an equipment problem. So he has not yet returned to the bench. And the Islanders going with 5 defensemen. Maskey fires in. Wells, is he hit by Thomas? Wells hesitated. He thought play would be blown dead as the puck caught the back of the net.
Well, he got in the way of the wrong guy. Thomas may not be very tall, but he's built like a human brick. Not going to get knocked over easily, as Wells found out.
Green looking for Palfy. Here's Pilon moving in from the left point. Steve Thomas, your typical power forward in the Kevin Stevens mold. Leach playing without a stick. Lost to Green. Blocker stop. Richter robbing Travis Green from point-blank range. Palfy looks for Green. Laumer back to help.
The net is off his moorings, but if you want to bring the Polaroid, take a shot of that save by Mike Richter. You talk about key saves. 1-1 hockey game, 9:47 left in the second. Here we are at the Nassau Coliseum, and Richter comes up with a save of the year. Take the highlight. It'll be shown during the week. To the left, right of your screen, right there, the blocker save. It's all reaction, and Richter at the top of his crease. Perfect positionally and perfect focus. Brian Leach, his one-time roommate, said of Mike Richter, he says he's really on his game. He is so mentally strong, and that's what Richter brings to the game. He hasn't had it for a long time. He was 1 for 8 in victories, had a tough time, got pulled 3 times, but has been working on his mental attitude, his strength, and you've just seen the result.
Since that 1-7 stretch, Richter has won his last 2. Rangers put together a pair of terrific games at home, defeating the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. As they pull back to the 500 mark at home, they've already lost 8 games at home this year, equaling their total of a year ago.
What a key save. The Islanders really having good skating, good movement, have somewhat of the play bringing it to the Rangers. That save means a lot.
Leach on the backhand. The shot was blocked. Another shot by Leach goes wide. Here's Messier. Back to Leach. Off the side of the net. 3 shots by Leach in that one flurry. Here's Leach again. Across to Bukaboo. Hops over the stick of Messier. Comes in front. And Soderstrom hangs on. Kevin Lowe and Kirk Muller, the goal scorer. During the early 1980s, many National Hockey League players, Stanley Cup dreams, were disappointed by the New York Islanders, including current Rangers coach Colin Campbell, a member of the 1982 Vancouver Canucks, a team that was swept by the Islanders 4 games to 9.
Sorry.
Here's Zubov from the right point. Nemchinov takes behind the Islander net. Peter Nedved along the right wing boards. Out to the blue line. Shoots on the screen. Here's Lowe pinching. Wraparound attempt by Noonan through the crease. Marinucci wrapped up by Nedved, but offsides.
It's too bad for the offside. Nedved, just a terrific strip of the puck on young rookie Marinucci. Nedved, you know, he's got the glove off right there in the left hand. He had a splinter in his hand during practice. And then you see the masterful takeaway by Nedved. Boy, how do the Rangers want this guy to react? It's been a tough grind so far this year for Nedved, but he showed some real spark the other night, getting a goal, but the first goal that really meant a lot to his teammates. They watched him drive for the net, take the hit to make the play, break the plane, break the perimeter, get your nose dirty. That's how the goals will be scored. Nedved had 38 goals with the Vancouver Canucks, and there's been a tumultuous time on the road between Vancouver and here. You can see he's gotten a few gashes now, and he's got to play hurt. Nedved may be learning every day from teammates who do.
Then we were told that Adam Graves broke his skate blade and has headed off for repairs. Matthew Schneider has returned from the Islander locker room. Schneider loops the puck into the Ranger zone. Kovalev. Here's Messier. Messier moving it on Ferraro. Centering pass deflected wide by Verbeek.
And Messier taking a full advantage of the fact that it was Ferraro playing defense.
2-on-1. McGinnis with Schneider. Schneider deflects the puck into the glove of Mike Richter.
Well, Matthew Schneider taking advantage of the opening. We talked about the comparisons between Matthew Schneider and Chelios. Well, believe me, there are a lot of them. Both weigh about the same, skate about the same way, and Schneider, just as Chelios would, jumps in whenever he's got an offensive opportunity, and don't let that little face, that 26-year-old fool you. There's a mean streak behind there that'll make him have a little more room than the average player.
Quick shot by McGinnis, score!
Well, the importance of getting the draw, no doubt, best illustrated right here off the draw. I tell you, Ferraro getting into the draw, working against Mark Messier, one of the best face-off men in the league. Both of them have their hands turned over backwards, both looking to draw the puck back on their backhand, and it's Ferraro who wins the battle and McGinnis who benefits.
Both Islander goals coming directly off face-offs. Goal by Muller just 9 seconds after the power play face-off. And now in 2 seconds, the Islanders connect as the 1992 Olympian Marty McGinnis scores his 7th this season.
Well, they're trying to match up against anybody, for Lauren Henning. He's looking for a matchup not only to try and hold back Messier, but someone who can be forceful with Messier, one of the best face-off men in the game, be forceful with him in the face-off circle, and we've seen the example. Ferraro at that one.
The goal by McGinnis, assisted by Ferraro. At 12:02, Islanders lead the Rangers 2-1. Offsides, Messier just ahead of the play.
As we look at Mark Messier, in the first period, we made the comment about the Rangers getting the first goal, and that would make them a little more comfortable in this building. Now they could be more relaxed, and they could play a more solid all-around game, the game they know. But the problem is that with not getting any shots in the final 11 or so minutes of the first period, the Islanders went back into the dressing room knowing that maybe they're not far away from making this team get rattled. And with 7:28 in the second left in the second period, the Islanders have just done that by taking a one-goal lead.
We talked about face-offs. Mark Messier, 50%, 8 out of 16. 2-1 lead for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, and actually Messier, in his own indirect way, involved in both goals, was in the penalty box for the first Islander power play goal by Muller, and this time cleanly beaten on the draw by Ferraro.
Here comes Karpatsev into the Islanders zone. Wrist shot blocked by Chanel. Halsey of the Islanders clears the center. Under 7 minutes remaining, second period. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from the Nassau Coliseum, where the Islanders lead the Rangers 2-1. Islanders look to play the role of spoilers. Rangers 1 point behind the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Richter puts the clamps down.
Now the Islanders are 10 points away from being 500 hockey team, and 500 is not a guarantee, but in most coaches' minds, if your team is a 500 hockey team overall, Bukaboom is now going off the ice, we see as well. I wonder if there's a problem with the ice. Anyway, we'll get back to that, but the 500 measure is usually a pretty good measure where coaches feel they'll get into the playoffs if they have a 500 record. Now we're looking at the fight for the playoffs. Buffalo, Hartford, Montreal, all very much, and I guess you should add Washington as well, very much in this mix for the last few playoff spots.
And of course, Fox Sports will bring you the Stanley Cup playoffs starting 3 weeks from this afternoon.
We've just seen Bukaboom go off the ice.
Interception by Vakota, but he does not exactly have the best hands on the Islanders. Although he did score a hat-trick in 5 minutes once in Washington. Only scored 1 goal the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, the point about Bukaboom, Kenny, is that it seems like it's 3 players that they have gone off for equipment difficulty, usually the skates.
We saw Schneider leave, and Graves, and Bukaboom.
There may be a few ball spots on the ice, or thin ice where it's going down to the cement, and players are stripping the edges on their skates.
How was the ice here when you played?
The ice was terrific here. But boy, what a difference it's going to make in the finals when in July we're playing. The buildings are going to matter a lot because there are a lot of buildings, including buildings where top teams are, don't have air conditioning.
Thomas looks to split the defense. Zubov sends around the boards. Kept in by Luongo on the right point. Thomas chasing with Lowe. Snyder on the backhand. Just over the glove of Richter. Nathan Lafayette loses to Marinucci. Muller looking for Thomas on the deflection. Rangers cannot clear the zone. Hard work by the Islanders continues.
Again, a nice defensive turnover by Marinucci, getting the hit on Verbeek, causing him to turn the puck over.
Adam Graves has returned, but Jeff Bukaboom has a broken edge on his skate.
Probably a stripped edge.
Muller's pass off the skate of Karpatsev. 4.5 to go, period number 2. Rangers took the 1-0 lead in the first on the goal by Lowe. Islanders 2 here in the second. Muller and McGinnis. Patrick Flatley, the Islanders captain. Rink wide, intended for Ferraro, knocked out of the air by Messier. Messier shoots just wide. Here's Ferraro, picks up the long rebound. Ferraro shoots, and Richter able to make the stop. Islanders now out shooting the Rangers 16-13.
There may be the culprit, not Jay Wells, but the hockey stick. Those are metal shafts, or aluminum carbon, as it says here. That may be the culprit for all of the stripped edges, it seems, that players have had today.
Flatley's pass rolls out to Snyder. Wrist shot blocked by Richter. Here's Ferraro shooting. Puck bouncing in front. Shot back in by Snyder. 2-1 Islanders lead. The Islanders out shooting the Rangers 10-6 here in the second period. Icing called on the Islanders. We'll return to the Nassau Coliseum in a moment. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from Nassau Coliseum. Fox NHL Sunday, the New York Islanders 2 and the New York Rangers 1. Kevin Lowe takes a hit from Travis Green. Sergei Zubov behind the Rangers net. Puck in the skates of Nathan Lafayette. Lafayette back to Zubov. Zubov with some open ice. Pass intended for Matteau from Larmer, deflected in the zone offsides on the Rangers.
The New York Islanders have gotten 12 victories this year. The record 12-22-5, but 8 of those victories have come at home. This is a hockey team that plays well in their home building. We're looking at young goaltender now, Salo. He had quite an impressive career in the Swedish Elite League, including gold medal victory.
Salo and Soderstrom, the goaltending combination for the Islanders. There have been, as you were able to see, only 5 goaltenders born in Sweden to play in the National Hockey League. And how about Tommy Soderstrom before faceoffs all the way underneath the crossbar? He hides in the net.
The only time I've ever seen that, and we've got a whistle, the only time I've ever seen that was a teammate of mine, Billy Smith, but he only did it at Madison Square Garden to protect himself from the fish that were being thrown down on him.
I think any fish are being thrown down here today.
No, I know that Tommy Soderstrom, although he's an aggressive goaltender, would not be classified as the same aggressiveness as Billy Smith did. Billy Smith, of course, now is the goaltending coach of the Florida Panthers hockey team.
Tommy Soderstrom has defeated the New York Rangers twice this season.
You know, the interesting thing there, we see the sweater, the jersey being raised, and we see the famous pose. If that were 15 years ago, it would be number 31 on his back. And, of course, in Madison Square Garden. And he used the big blade to sweep up the fish and usually told the trainers, wrap it up, I'll take it home.
So where did you hide?
I couldn't hide. You just got to sit there and take it.
2:45 on the clock. It's the Islanders 2 and the Rangers 1. Kevin Lowe, who opened the scoring.
Well, you were there, Kenny, with your Vancouver Canucks jersey on, right?
As well as here during those 82 finals.
That's right.
Here's Kirk Muller. Behind the back pass, looking to set up Marinucci. Nedved clears down. Takes it out. Hacked out by Nemchinov. Kirk Muller down the left wing. Muller looks to skate by Leach. They come together. Steve Thomas for the Islanders. Centering pass. Marinucci was cutting for the goal.
You gotta like how Marinucci jumps in the open hole.
Nice play by Snyder to clear the zone. Here's Marinucci flipping in and then heads to the bench as the Islanders make a line change. Boy, has that line really clicked ever since the trade. Muller with Thomas and Marinucci. Here's Verbeek, broken up by McKinnon. Verbeek and Ferraro come together. Islanders cannot clear. Range to Messier. Ferraro on the interception, out to McKinnon. McGinnis held up by Bukaboom. Mark Messier offside. He held up and was ahead of the play too soon. At the conclusion of today's game, Denny and I will select the Jeep and Eagle player of the game. Right now, a minute 16 remaining, second period.
Well, we're looking at Coach Colin Campbell. I tell you, tough call for Campbell. We see a nice defensive play here, a takeout by Jeff Bukaboom. But the tough call for Colin Campbell is that last year, after 37 games, the Rangers had 40 more goals for. They're down 1 goal a game. How many victories could that account for, considering the Rangers have had 11 one-goal hockey games?
And the Rangers have got about 8 minutes without a shot. Carbon copy of the first period when they went the last 11 and a half minutes without putting an official shot towards Tommy Soderstrom. Final minute of the second period. Messier down the right wing, held off by Schneider. Schneider forced Messier to the outside.
Well, if you don't see Muller on the ice with Messier, you're going to see Schneider. One of the two definitely will be on the ice whenever Mark Messier steps on the ice. Well, we got a little confrontation here.
Graves drops the gloves with Chris Luongo.
Boy, Luongo, one of the real strong kids that came up. Very impressive. Of course, everybody knows the strength of Adam Graves and the determination. Chris Luongo, along with Matthew Schneider, make up what Coach Lauren Henning says his best defensive duo, in spite of their getting burnt pretty badly in the New Jersey game when the New Jersey Devils scored 6 unanswered goals. But there's one of the fiercest competitors in the game. You talk about a Group 1 free agent. The Rangers really took advantage of a rule that is no longer in the collective bargaining agreement. Adam Graves acquired as a free agent because of the Group 1 free agency that allows a player under the age of 24, or allowed, I should say in past tense, to be picked up in the free agency with little or no compensation. The compensation was Troy Millette. For those of you in the New York area who remember Troy Millette, a real steal for Colin Campbell and the New York Rangers. Adam Graves setting a New York Rangers scoring record last year with 52 big ones. Tallies, as they call them.
Well, Graves and Luongo head off 5 apiece for fighting at 1926. Graves and Luongo teammates in the Detroit Red Wings training camp a couple of years back.
That's hardly teammates in training camp. The Islanders had fights in training camp for 15 years. A lot of them involved, you know, Bobby Neister, Clark Gillies, myself, Gary Howitt. There's always pressure, and if you're going to have a competitive team, you have to have competition, the good kind, within the team.
Face off to the right of Soderstrom. Pilon clears out. Leach for the Rangers. In the skates of Kovalov. 20 seconds to go here in the second period. King chops at it. Kept in the zone by Larmer. Now 10 seconds remain. Kovalov to the corner, lost an edge. You mentioned that Coliseum ice.
Well, either the ice or the hockey stick or the metal shaft. Something is doing it to these skate blades of the players.
Time expires in period number 2. Muller and McGinnis, the goal scorers in the middle period, as the Islanders lead the Rangers 2-1.
Fox NHL Sunday is brought to you by Jeep, makers of Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler.
Back here in Hollywood, California, along with Dave Maloney, I'm James Brown, and in the games you're watching, you've got the Battle of Pennsylvania and the Battle of New York. We start first in New York, where the Rangers are 1 point away from the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and Messier doing his best to fire the troops up.
Well, he needs some firing up here. The Blue Shirts are down by 2 at this stage of the hockey game. There is another Lindros. Brett, here he comes, the 75 Express. Boom! Over Mike Richter he goes. He gets 5 for charging. Bad call. Coliseum. Messier opens up a lane. Nice drop pass. Out goes Lowe's left leg. He fends off McInnes. Misses the first attempt and buries the second one, Kevin Lowe. Now, you talk about the importance of face-offs. Muller ties up the Ranger Graves. Now, he goes to the net. There's a give and go here with Schneider to King. Back to Schneider. Now, where's Muller? Well, follow the puck. Off the stick, in the net, started by Muller, finished by Muller. Good job, Kirk Muller.
Islanders battle back from a 1-0 deficit, lead at 2-1, that after 2. John Van Beesbrook knows that he's the guy that's got to carry the weight for the Florida Panthers.
He has Tampa's a more creative offensive team, but he told us last week he likes to play inside the shooter's head. Nice and calm in the net. John Tucker misses it wide. He wants that one back. Roman Hammerlick off the bottom of your screen, off the toe of Van Beesbrook. It goes. He's crawling around in Tampa's head, JB.
Beesbrook with 18 saves. John Van Beesbrook doing a job, no score there. Hey, the Easter Bunny shows up in Philly. Why, you ask? When you got a big line like that, Leclerc, Lindros, and Renberg, you show up if they say be here.
The Legion of Doom, JB, well, what do they have to do? They're not going to out-ice you. They're going to out-physical you. And here they go. Lindros off the draw. John Leclerc buries the goal. Not pretty, but Taglianetti over to McIver. You can't do that. That puck's got to go up the wall. Brindamore to Fedek in the net. Peter Taglianetti, you got to get rid of it. Larry Murphy, the unheralded, the defenseman from the Penguins, scores a nice one. Legs apart, arms out, beats Hextall. Larry Murphy, nice goal.
2-2 game there after 2 periods of play. Brett Hall and the Blues had been treating the Red Wings rudely, but the Red Wings have bounced back.
Well, Brett Hall's going to want to play on Easter Sunday every day, but the Wings turn up ice. They turn the wrong way. You can't give this guy that much ice. He's going to bury it. That's the first one. This is the second one, a slapper from the point. Mike Vernon gets beaten a 5-hole. This is the third one, a good give and go. Out to the middle. Who but Hull again. And you know what, JB? He scored again. The hats are there. This is after 3. What a day. What a day for Brett Hall.
He's added one more, the first time that Brett Hall has scored 4 in a game. Red Wings trailing the Blues by 1 that late in the second period of play. Ed Belfort done a great job in the first period of play, but tough now.
He has, you know. Watch the 2 red guys come away from the puck. Well, Gagne out to Klatt. Hawks killing a penalty that time. They get to bury the puck because the Blackhawks did not keep the front of the net clear.
Stars not so boring now. They at least have a goal. They lead it by 1 after 2. All right, when we come back, we'll take you around the NHL and show you our version of the plays of the year. Welcome back to Fox NHL Sunday. With most teams having less than 10 games left in the season, we thought this would be an ideal time to take a look at some of the best plays that have gotten us to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here are the NHL's plays of the year.
Get enough of the puck. Look at that move by Lilly. He shoots and scores. Yager still has the puck, fires. He's beating like a rented mule. He's 2 men short. He's in. Hold the shot. He scores. Primo runs back right in. Primo the shot. He scores. After Spolane. Save by Carey with the glove. Gary Suter sees the fire. Kid, oh, what a glove save. Here's for another big crotch save, eh? Shoot. Oh, what a... How many shots in the back? All Korea. Back to Korea. Score! Meanwhile, it's Robitaille. Yager has a man in front. It's Frank down to Samson. Shoots and scores. He was hooked. Comes back to Captain Polo. He scores!
The New York Islanders lead the New York Rangers by the score of 2-1. We'll be back to wrap up that second period of action. Take a look at stats in a moment.
Fox NHL Sunday is brought to you by Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. By Speed Stick by Mullen. Like you, it never quits. By Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. And by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin back at the Nassau Coliseum. Between periods 2 and 3, Islanders lead the Rangers 2-1. Time now for our Bud Ice game summary.
Key statistics, shots on goal. Graves, Messier, Kovalev, and Larmer have no shots on goal, and both Islander goals have come directly off face-off wins. We'll get a chance to show you Muller against Graves. Muller blocks. Watch how Schneider and King isolate and 2-on-1 Graves. They get Graves chasing. Finally, when Graves moves over enough, back to Schneider, the head up, looking for Muller, and a deflection, and nobody can do anything about that. Muller getting his first goal as a New York Islander. There you see Messier, Muller, the comparisons. Messier, no shots on goal, although has the assist on Lowe's really tremendous goal. Kevin Lowe getting the drop pass and driving to the net. Muller, you can see 7 of 12 face-off victories, and he himself has the power play goal that got the Islanders back on the board.
Lowe's first from Messier and Graves on the power play, 8:28 of the first period. In the second, Muller's ninth also on the power play. Schneider and King the assists at 4:08. And the go-ahead goal scored by Marty McGinnis, his 7th this season, from Ray Ferraro at 12:02. Islanders 2, Rangers 1. What do you look for here in the third?
Well, there's got to be something like energy and electricity to come off of the Ranger bench. We really have not seen it at all. The Rangers were complimented by their coaches and staff because they played so well in the beginning periods, both in Buffalo and against Boston. They came out flying, they said. They have not done that here tonight. After trailing the second period, the Rangers only have 1 victory all year, going into the third period trailing.
As you saw, the Rangers have struggled in the final half of both the first and the second periods, so they look to come out strong here in the third.
Well, those shots on goal, boy, or the lack of shots on goal in the last 10 minutes and 12 minutes of the first and second period, respectively, is indicative.
There's Larmer's first shot this afternoon. Marty McGinnis looks to clear, chopped down by Verbeek. And now the puck rolls to center, where it's played by Patrick Flatley. Flatley across to Baskey. Matthew Schneider, who has played well. Ferraro lets it roll all the way down ice. Lowe touches up, icing. And Ray Ferraro not very happy. He was hit at center by Jeff Bukaboom.
Bukaboom came out. A little bit of a late hit on Ray Ferraro. The puck had already gone by. So Ferraro just took the hit and sat down. Ferraro, 18 goals so far this year. Leads the team in shooting percentage. Leads the league in shooting percentage. 24.3% shooting efficiency.
Then next week, Fox NHL Sunday begins live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. Most of you will see these same New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox Sports. Nedved wins the faceoff. Zubov with the shot. It's blocked by Marinucci. Now couldn't clear. Newton's shot high over the crossbar. Islanders having trouble clearing the zone. Kept alive by Nemchinov. Here's Nedved. Shot high over the net. Zubov looking for Nemchinov in front. Nemchinov wrapped up by Chanel. And Dean Chanel will head to the penalty box. Rangers will go to the power play. I'll check that. It looks to be Kirk Muller heading off. But in any event, the Rangers, with their first power play since the first period.
Watch the left hand of Muller. As soon as you take one hand off your hockey stick, you're 50% of the way there to get Andy Van Hellemond or any referee to call you on a holding charge. And Muller, had he kept both hands on the hockey stick, might have been able to not let Nemchinov get to the middle of the ice. But instead, one hand on the stick, as I say, 50% to 50% were there to getting a holding penalty. All important. No kidding. All important power play for the Rangers.
Their lone goal came with the man advantage. Leach and Zubov on the points. Verbeek up front with Messier and the other Ranger forward is Peter Nedved with Graves still in the penalty box.
Well, it's interesting. Nedved, they really want him to get going. But right now we'll see who will stand in front of the net and obscure the view of Soderstrom. That's what Graves would be doing normally. Right now we see the Rangers very much on the perimeter.
Nedved from straight away. Leach shoots. It's blocked by Travis Green. Comes to Verbeek in the near corner. Nedved working the boards. Islanders setting up in their box. Mark Messier. Rangers without a shot of this power play so far. Messier slid into by Schneider. Matthew Schneider looks to clear. Could not. 3 Rangers in the corner. Worked free by Verbeek.
A nice range by Matthew Schneider.
Nedved shooting. Right pad save. Soderstrom. Nedved controls with 45 seconds on the Muller penalty. Here's Messier. Checked away by Schneider. Who clears? No, not out of his own. Zubov racing over to hold it in. Leach blocked by McInnes, who broke his stick. McInnes playing without a stick. Schneider still could not clear. Leach in the corner. 20 seconds on the man advantage. Zubov shoots. Saved by Soderstrom.
Key save, Soderstrom.
The drive by Messier, kicked out by Soderstrom, and McInnes without his stick clears down with his glove.
Headsy play by McInnes. Schneider still on the ice.
Muller has returned. Messier poke checked away by Flatley. Pilon off the boards, out of the reach of Kirk Muller. Rangers with 3 shots during that power play, all good ones.
Well, a fabulous display of defensive hockey by Matthew Schneider, keeping himself free, covering a tremendous amount of ice in defending against the Ranger power play.
Ryan Newton works his way into the Islander zone. Drops it off to Larder, who overskates the corner is Kovalov. Good defensive play by Dean Chanel.
One extra move by Kovalov, and he lost the puck.
Chanel's pass over the stick of Ferraro. Carson set for the Rangers, puts on the brakes. Keeping it alive. Back to Ferraro, who shoots into the corner. Ferraro chases with Larmer. Four and a half gone by. Third period. 2-1 Islanders lead. Shots now even at 17. King lost an edge. Parkinson. Hanson Newton. Both teams in the midst of line changes.
Well, the crowd coming alive now. The Panther fans really thrilled to see the Islanders kill off the penalty and not allowing the Rangers any real good opportunities on that power play opportunity.
Bookable beats Thomas to the puck. Icing called on the Islanders.
Well, I did say Panther fans. I know there's a couple here. But we'll get back to the replay. You see the nice play by Schneider, the range that he covers. That was a 2-on-1, almost an automatic 2-on-1. And again, a poke check off of Messier's stick twice, 1-on-1 with Messier getting the play, but he didn't quite finish it off. Twice he made beautiful takeaways, and twice was not able to get it out of the zone. But all in all, it didn't hurt the Islander penalty kill.
Bookable with the drive, and that goes wide right off the faceoff. Leaps towards the net. Loose in front. Soderstrom covers up.
Now, plenty of Islander coverage in front of the net. The one thing you don't want is to be outmanned in front of your own net, and the Islanders have made sure. You'll see right from the faceoff, again, the importance of the victory. This time the Rangers, the big shot and control. It's possession you want. 3 people, 3 Rangers in front of the net, 3 Islanders in front of the net. That's what you have to have.
And once again, a look at Matthew Schneider, who has enjoyed a terrific game this afternoon. Matthew Schneider, who first laced his skates at age 3 at the Rockefeller Center Skating Rink in Manhattan.
Well, he was born in Manhattan, but Matthew was telling me that he had his hockey really was played in New Jersey, and then many places on Long Island, like Oyster Bay and Syosset, and was a fan, a big fan in those early 80s, and sat here during the Cup drive.
A shot by Leach sailed wide. Big hockey week in New York. Matthew Schneider traded to the Islanders, and both Joe and Brian Mullen named the recipients of the Lester Patrick Award.
They all started their hockey careers on the street. And roller skates. Yeah, street hockey, then the natural graduation of roller skates, and then from there, it's almost easy to go from inline to ice hockey.
Brian Leach, who grew up in Connecticut.
Born in Corpus Christi, Texas. It really says a lot for the NCAA hockey program now. There's so many young players. Marinucci, the Hobie Baker Award winner last year, 94. Minnesota's really producing tremendous hockey talent. Richter, of course, on that save. Also American-born player, Wisconsin.
Both Islander defensemen born in the U.S. Luongo and Schneider as the puck deflects into the left of Soderstrom. Chris Luongo from Detroit. Detroit native also started his NHL career with the Red Wings. Ferraro looks to lead McGinnis. Richter keeps it away. Flatly beats Messier to the puck. At Verbeek. Verbeek drops it off. Adam Graves tries the return pass. Graves centers for Zubov. His stick was lifted, and the Islanders move out. Puck deflects out of play. Pat Flatley and the Islanders lead the Rangers 2-1. Islanders control the face-off. Pass by Palpy, turned back by Carpetson. Now Pilon shoots down. 13 minutes on the clock here in the third. Kevin Lowe, the Rangers goal scorer. Muller and McGinnis for the Islanders. Rangers 1 point behind the 8th place Buffalo Sabres in the race for that final Eastern Conference playoff spot. Following this afternoon's game, Rangers with 8 games on the schedule, 5 at home, only 3 away from Madison Square Garden. They'll be in action again Tuesday in Pittsburgh. Islanders host Quebec on Tuesday night. King looks to lead Palpy. Wells races back. Another icing call on the Islanders. We'll be back from the Nassau Coliseum. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from Nassau Coliseum, where the Islanders have been held without a shot over the first 7.5 minutes of the third.
Now Zubov, we saw him give the puck away to Vakota earlier.
Here's Leach moving in from the left point. Soderstrom got the glove on it, and then Vasky knocked the puck into the corner with his glove.
Wow, what a play by Vasky. You're looking at Dennis Vasky right now. That just may have been a goal-saving batting the puck away. Well, try and see the angle. It'll be tough. Leach does an excellent job of faking on Thomas to get the shot to the net. And the big save, the puck coming down there. Vasky was worried, as you can see, that the puck may have dropped inside the crossbar and into the net. So he lunged for it. A good choice. Rather than try and use the hockey stick, make sure with the hand right there. A little sacrifice is to run into the goalpost, but the net will get knocked off the moorings right here. Good choice by Vasky to use the glove, because there's no way you could be sure to get your stick on it if you're going to try and knock it out of the dangerous area.
Islanders control the defensive zone face-off as Palpy backhands all the way down. Leach racing back, Icing called on the Islanders.
The point I wanted to indicate with Sergei Zubov was during that long that timeout we had, Mike Richter went all the way to the Ranger bench and started to talk to Zubov. And from our vantage point, they were talking a lot about extending their arms. And it seemed to me like maybe Richter was saying, don't make that long pass through the middle. The one that was nearly intercepted by Mick Vukota late in the second period. And Zubov was nodding and saying, well, our interpretation of sign language anyway, it appeared that he says, yeah, I'll keep it up alongside of the board. No big long passes from the corner, your own corner, through the center of the ice.
Right off the face-off for Beek, fires wide. Bookaboo moving in, it's deflected in front, and cleared out of trouble by Ferraro.
Well, the Rangers have really applied pressure. They've already got 6 shots, totally unanswered by the Islanders so far in this period.
How many scoring chances have we seen on both ends directly as a result of face-off wins? Both Islander goals. Leach out to Bookaboo. Bookaboo rips one towards the net wide. Graves and McGinnis stuck together in the far corner as Flatley clears down.
Well, the face-off win gets you possession of the puck, and both teams are pretty good. Certainly the Rangers are the better team to keep possession of the puck. The Islanders have done well. That's why opportunities are created.
Messier in front. Penalty on the Islanders for Beek. Taken to the ice by Marinucci, holding call. So the Rangers will go to another power play when we return.
Well, sometimes it's not what you do with the puck, it's what you do without it. And watch Verbeek drive to the Islander net, which causes Marinucci to try and grab a hold of him. You see here, again, one hand off of the hockey stick. You're halfway there. You're 50% of the way there of getting a penalty. Verbeek driving to the net, fighting through Marinucci, created the penalty and therefore created a wonderful opportunity for the Rangers. So the guys who don't have the puck are like the wide receivers. You've got to work to get into the open.
You mentioned earlier the Rangers' poor power play on the road. They did score earlier. Zubov in deep to Larmer. Peter Nedved along the right wing boards. Nedved, Noonan, and Larmer for the Rangers. Nedved walking in, and he shoots it off the stick of Soderstrom and into the crowd.
Rich Pilon knocking everybody over. First Nedved, then Larmer, who came to the defense of Pilon. Now, Pilon's doing the smart thing. He's skating away. He doesn't want to get involved in anything. An altercation now would bring the numbers down to maybe a 4-on-3 for the New York Rangers, which means that the Rangers even have more ice to work with. So a 4-on-3 is more dangerous to the Islanders than a 5-on-4 is. But Pilon is just a big, strong guy, a bruiser. And you'll see what he does here. Just a good shove right there to Nedved. A little high on the glove, maybe, and then just shoves Larmer back. You know what Pilon does in the offseason? He races chuck wagons in Saskatchewan. This guy is a bruiser, a strong man, and the Islanders are happy to have him back. He was out with injury for quite a while.
Races chuck wagons. There is Chris Marinucci, his first trip to the penalty box.
And sometimes wrestles Grizzlies, I hear, but I can't confirm that.
Early this season, he wrestles other hockey players. Marinucci's first penalty in 8 NHL games, holding at 8:50. Rangers 1-4 with the man advantage. Leach from straight away. Here's Zubov. Quite a battle taking place in front of the Islander goal. Leach shot just wide. 40 seconds down by on the penalty. Zubov shoots. Saddles from the save, and he covers up with a couple of players on the doorstep.
Well, obviously, you can see the transition in the Ranger power play over the first period, where they tried to use more passing and more finesse around the goal. Right now, Colin Campbell is sending some of his bigger players to stand in front of the net. Now, Larmer, not the biggest guy, but probably the most competitive in the league, standing in front of the net, obviously trying to get in the way of Soderstrom and tying up the Islander defensemen. So it gives Zubov and Leach plenty of chance to be able to wind up and blast the puck from the point. This time Soderstrom able to pick up the point, or the point shot and the puck late, but still able to put a stoppage to the play. We're looking here at one of the fierce competitors. Before he left Chicago, he had played 884 consecutive hockey games. Steve Larmer, one of the best in the league.
Couple of nice moves by Zubov. Score!
Well, you can't ask for a better individual effort by a guy who they feel is unstoppable if you don't get in front of him. Kirk Muller, the Islanders, said once you give Zubov or Leach a little time to wind up, they're unstoppable. Watch, again, resulting from the faceoff. Directly from the faceoff. Zubov goes back and gets it. Watch a little mastery at work. Always with the head up, just enough ice, and a beautiful backhand shot over the shoulder of Soderstrom. It's almost as though no one had a chance to defend against Sergei Zubov once he got wheeling. Beautiful control of the puck, finished off by a superb backhand. A handful of people in the National Hockey League can shoot a backhand shot like Zubov just did.
Fifth goal of the season for Sergei Zubov. At 9:45, Messier, the lone assist. Second power play goal for the Rangers today.
Well, Messier now jumps in front of Guy Lafleur in all-time scoring with his second assist tonight. Or today, I should say. Well, we're getting into the nighttime. Getting into the nighttime.
Although it is still light outside. 2-2 hockey game. Now the steal by Verbeek. Verbeek leaves it for Adam Graves. Graves, first shot. Up save, made by Soderstrom.
Tommy Soderstrom, the Islander goalie, had an interesting thing happen to him, and it happened right here at Nassau Coliseum. After shutting out the New York Rangers 1-0, he went back to the dressing room and found the next day at practice that somebody has stolen his belly pad. Well, now he went back out, and of course, Coach Lauren Henning was concerned because Tommy Soderstrom seemed unsettled that his belly pad had been stolen. So he tried to find another piece of equipment and did work the next game, had a horrendous hockey game. Equipment is very personal and very important to everybody who plays the game.
How superstitious were you with regards to equipment?
Well, I sometimes would use the hockey stick for 5 or 6 games if I felt it was a good one. But to me, it felt the hockey stick was the most important tool that I had. That's really what you had to feel for. But other than that, I can't think of too many superstitions that I would keep up.
Maskey shoots in for the Islanders. And Chinoff with 9 minutes to go. Third period, we are tied at 2. Rangers with power play goals from a pair of defensemen, Kevin Lowe and Sergei Zubov. Muller on the power play. McGinnis at even strength for the Islanders. Thomas looking for Muller. Now walks it across himself. Muller out to the point. Pilon moving in. His shot was blocked by Kovalov. Back from the Nassau Coliseum after this.
Mark Messier, the captain of the Rangers, 2 assists tonight. It's a 2-2 hockey game. You can see now Messier has jumped in ahead of Guy Lafleur, 13:54. He's got a long way to go to Espo, but it's still a great category. Great category, and great names to be in there for a superb hockey player. And look at the turnaround in this game. In the third period, the Rangers 10-0 shot. But it seems to have had that flow, Kenny. Once the team takes advantage, they seem to sit back on their lead.
Remember, the Rangers were without a shot the final 12 minutes of the second period. Overall, 23-17 edge for the Rangers. Zubov shooting. Score!
Well, this time it looks like Nedved got himself in the position that his team and his teammates want him to be in. Stop skating in the perimeter. Stop getting your shots from the outside. Make them count. And you'll see how he makes it count. Nedved standing right in the middle of the slot, right up high, willing to take any kind of abuse that'll come to him, and is there. You see him fighting for ice, fighting for position. Nedved fights for the position. And from this angle, we think that he's the one who deflected Zubov's shot into the goal. Well, we'll take another look. We'll take another look.
So the Rangers scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, 1 second. And they take the lead 3-2. Goal credited to Sergei Zubov. So Nedved set a screen but did not get his stick on the puck. Unassisted goal, Sergei Zubov's second goal in 2 minutes, 1 second, his 6th of the season.
Well, Zubov got the shot from the point. We knew that, but I kind of like the positioning of Nedved. But let's watch to see which Islander may have deflected the puck. Maybe before it got to Nedved. Watch right now. You see that stick? That's an Islander stick that deflected the puck. And Nedved was right there in the picture as well. Well, for the moment, whether or not after the Islander deflected the puck, whether or not Nedved did get another piece of it, it may have looked like it redirected twice. The goal stands as Nedved's second goal in this period. Zubov's second goal in this period.
Remember earlier we saw Mike Richter skating over and having some words of wisdom with Sergei Zubov on the Rangers bench after that blurring pass up the middle. And now Zubov credited with 2 goals. We'll have to wait and see if they change the second to Nedved, but in any event,
still doesn't matter. It's a superb setup and a shot towards the net by Zubov.
It's the Rangers 3 and the Islanders 2. Rangers out shooting the Islanders 11-0 here in the third.
That's a huge game for the Rangers.
Icing called on the Islanders with 7:14 to play. Sergei Zubov had not scored in 12 games, but the last time he scored, he also tallied twice against the Buffalo Sabres. This is his 3rd career 2-goal game. Puck deflects out with 7:07 on the clock.
Well, the importance of this game, of course, is huge for the New York Rangers. Later on today, Ottawa visits Buffalo. You got to figure Ottawa's only had 4 victories all year. That's pretty much of a given for the Buffalo Sabres. And the Sabres 38 points today, and the Rangers coming into tonight's game have 37. You see the angle here? It was definitely deflected by the New York Islander defender. We can't quite see who it was. And the goal will stand as Zubov.
Puck on the back of the Islander goal. And play is whistled in once more with 6:56 remaining here in the third. A 3-2 New York Rangers lead.
Now the other game of note tonight that will be in New Jersey. The Hartford Whalers, who with 39 points. That's 2 points ahead of the Rangers coming into this game. The Hartford Whalers in New Jersey. A New Jersey team that is red hot at the moment. And they have their own motivation in their strong pursuit of the Philadelphia Flyers for the division lead, the Atlantic Division.
Tight race in the NHL's Eastern Conference.
This conference play is wonderful. Everybody, right down to the end, the last game of the season, will have something to fight for.
Icing waved off. Puck bounces in front, but Lynch was there. Barber around the boards. Maskey kicks the puck in deep. Naraducci for the Islanders. Kept alive by Pilon. The shot stopped by Richter. Thomas with a golden opportunity to tie the game.
Hang a medal around Mike Richter. That's a second key save he's made. Game-saving save. And this one, boy, almost unbelievable on the Islanders' first shot of the period.
Here's Mullen. Backhand pass. The shot by Thomas was blocked. Then in the Islanders game Friday against the Devils, they did not get a shot off the first 16 minutes of the third period.
They were credited with 14 really good minutes of hockey at the beginning of the game against the New Jersey Devils, then really folded their tent. Once the Devils got the third goal and tied it up 3-3, it became all Devil hockey.
5:35 to go. Rangers 3, the Islanders 2. Islanders won both previous meetings this season. SCA across the line. Shot blocked by Luongo. SCA behind the Islanders' net. Centering pass off the stick of Luongo. Snyder back loose with Verbeek. Quick pass to Adam Graves, who steers it just wide. Here comes Ray Ferraro. Matthew Snyder for the Islanders. Ferraro, sliding play by Leach, and now the Rangers clear.
Well, the play's picked up tremendously. Islanders, 4:50 to play in the third. Looking to tie it up. 3-2, New York Rangers. We'll be back. Well, you look at it, Steve Thomas was foiled in front of the Ranger net. Look at this save, point blank by Mike Richter. That was the first and only Islanders shot so far this period.
Now being outshot by the Rangers 12-1. 25-18 overall, 4.5 to go. Islanders led 2-1 until the 9:45 mark of this third period. Sergei Zubov scoring twice in 2 minutes, 1 second. Derek King shoots in for the Islanders. Kovalov behind his own net. Avoids the Derek King hit. Lafayette could not control. Here's Pilon. Travis Green's pass too far. It's headed for King. Shot into the Islanders zone by Zubov.
I can see the quick changes by the New York Rangers. Coach Colin Campbell doesn't want anybody tired on the ice. That would be a bad excuse to make a mistake. Use your whole bench.
Zubov around the boards, kept in nicely by Pilon. Stanton in a race with Noonan. Paul Stanton there first. Chris Marinucci on the left wing to Kurt Muller. Muller down the right wing. Hit by Lowe. Thomas pushes Zubov to the corner boards. There's Marinucci behind the net. Stripped by Lowe. Snyder over to help out. Thomas comes in front. There's Marinucci, but a great defensive play by Lowe to break things up. Springboarding Noonan ahead, 2-on-1 with Zubov. Noonan forced behind the net by Snyder.
Boy, it's a superb defensive play. Snyder forcing Noonan to the corner and slowing the 2-on-1 down. That's all you can ask from a defenseman when outnumbered 2-1.
Under 3 minutes on the clock. Luongo, watched by the forechecking Graves. They fought earlier. The speedy Marty McGinnis. McGinnis looking to set up Ferraro. Cut loose in the crease. And Richter falls on top of it.
Ferraro taking a beating in front of the net, but he did what he had to do. He put his head down and he tried to jam the puck loose from Mike Richter, who had it under his pad, but already had it covered just too well for Ferraro to be able to get it loose. Watch Marty McGinnis coming across. Good speed and a wonderful pick right there at the top of your screen, and it was Ferraro who picked and got himself in the position, and you see where the puck is. Not a real good grab on it by Mike Richter, and that gave Ferraro the feeling like he might be able to pry it loose. A little extra effort by Verbeek to jump on top of Ferraro is going to put Verbeek in the penalty box for 2 minutes. Hey, there's 2:36 left in this hockey game. 3-2 in favor of these guys, the New York Rangers, and now they have to kill off the penalty, 2-minute penalty for holding on Verbeek.
Time of the penalty, 17:24. Islanders 1 for 2 on the power play this afternoon. And remember, both Islander goals have come directly off faceoffs.
And there you'll see the wraparound again, the right arm off of his hockey stick. Verbeek sort of saddles up and rides Ferraro, and Verbeek got himself a ride to the penalty box. The faceoffs, you see the tremendous Ranger advantage, and more important now than ever in killing penalties, Ranger faceoff victories And there's a perfect example, a huge face-off victory by Messier. That gains them at least 15 to 20 seconds that they can now kill off on this penalty.
Messier beat Muller on the draw. Here's Muller into the Ranger zone. Derek King. Muller with King and Thomas. Messier hit by Thomas. Puck lines around the boards, and Buchaboom sends down with 2 minutes remaining, third period.
You know, it's interesting. Only 16 teams, actually, in the National Hockey League.
Two-line pass on the Islanders.
As we get a whistle here, there are 16 teams in the National Hockey League that have a better than a 3-goal against average, and that includes the New York Rangers. Of the other teams that have a higher than 3-goal a game average is the New York Islanders, who give up 3.4 goals a game on average. This game at 3-2 with 1:51 left. Boy, the stats, after all, really indicate the truth of how these teams have played throughout the season.
Timeout called by the Islanders. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Hockey League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the telecast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League, is prohibited.
Well, in setting up what's going to happen, with 1:51 left, the Islanders down by 1 goal, it's conceivable that Coach Lorne Henning will pull his goaltender as soon as the Islanders get possession of the puck inside the Ranger zone. Now, with Verbeek in the penalty box, it means that the Rangers are allowed to ice the puck without any stoppages of play. That is somewhat of an advantage for a team who is at a disadvantage.
.151 on the clock, 36-second differential with the penalty time. We welcome those of you down south who have been watching the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. Kenny Albert, Denis Potvin from Nassau Coliseum. Rangers lead the Islanders 3-2. 90 seconds to go. Islanders on the power play. Islanders led 2-1. And a pair of Sergei Zubov goals here in the third as the centering pass. Keith could not get his stick down.
King is the lead scorer of penalty and power play goals for the Islanders with 6.
Here's Lauber at center. Soderstrom still in the Islander net. We approach the 1-minute mark. And 25 seconds left on the Verbeek penalty. Here's Ferraro stripped by Messier. Soderstrom waiting. Is not yet headed to the bench. Messier. Here's Zubov. Back to Messier. Sliding save by the defenseman, Dennis Vesky.
Now, the referee did not notice the goalpost was off its moorings. The net had actually been dislodged when Messier took the shot.
Ball on the Islanders with just 34 seconds to go. Pat Verbeek has returned. Islanders did not get off a shot during the man advantage.
Boy, what a problem that would have been for both coaches and referee Andy Van Helleman. The net had already been dislodged when Zubov made the pass to Messier in a 3-on-1. Now, had Messier shot and scored, the goal would not have counted. Well, that would have been a real battle royale here in Nassau Coliseum. See where the net is off here to the right of your screen, right here. At the time when Messier shot the puck, it was deflected by the defenseman and was never really a threat. Linesman and referee Andy Van Helleman missed that one.
Mark Messier, 2 assists this afternoon.
Mark Messier had an outstanding playoff last year. We don't need to remind anybody of that. But for a guy to score 30 points in 23 playoff games, as Mark Messier did, I tell you, it must have been a real battle when voting for the Conn Smythe Trophy, especially after what Messier did in Game 6 of the semifinals in New Jersey, predicting the victory and then getting his own hat trick.
Final half minute of play. Noonan hit by Snyder. Islanders will look to clear out of the Rangers zone and pull Soderstrom, but Leach is there with 20 to go.
Well, the Islanders not able to get the puck up the ice, never giving Soderstrom a chance to get out. Now he goes for the bench.
Patrick Flatley shoots in. Ferraro from a top angle. It hit the goalpost. Muller shot just wide. Here's McGinnis setting up Ferraro as time expires.
Wow. Couple of hair-raising moments for the New York Rangers. Muller having an opportunity to get it back, shot the rolling puck, unable to get it to the net, missed it wide.
And for only the second time in the last 19 regular season games, the Rangers with a victory at Nassau Coliseum. In both games, the game winner was scored by Sergei Zubov.
Now Zubov coming back, that's big, but the man you're looking at there, Brian Leach, had a strong game, although not offensively. But here is the big man, Sergei Zubov, and of course, major consideration to Mike Richter.
Zubov, our Jeep and Eagle player of the game. Jeep and Eagle proud to donate $1,000 in Sergei's name to the Amateur Hockey Association of his choice. The Rangers now in the 8th spot of the Eastern Conference, 1 point ahead of the Buffalo Sabres. Kenny Albert with Denis Potvin saying so long from the Nassau Coliseum. Rangers over the Islanders, 3-2. Now let's go to the Flyers and Penguins.